Hey there, friendlies. How is up? Welcome to the 29th of September episode of the Beer Blades and Bushcraft live stream. I haven't even had a sip yet. Um, Bit of a freewheeling episode tonight, not because I went and forgot what I wanted to ask you guys about this time, but just because I didn't actually have anything ready. Bit of a high octane week again. I'm trying to get another one of those panel discussions up and going. I got to take my socks off. It's hot in here. Trying to get another one of those panel discussions going. I'm a little stalled right now, but I'll work on it. I'll let you guys know when that gets up and going. I'm hoping it'll be soon. I like those panel discussions. I like the interviews and I like the panel discussions quite a bit. I find that they're a little more interesting than just me sitting here and yammering at y'all. You know what I'm saying? As I always say, I got blades, I got beer, and we're going to talk about bushcraft. You guys getting tired of me doing that every week? Saying the same damn schmaltzy thing. Okay, hold on. So, hi, Grace. Hi, Tenenbaum. Hey, Hike. How's it going? Hike, is Canoe Hound still going strong at his live stream over there? That was a good live stream tonight. I think Grace, you were over there too. For anyone here who doesn't hit up the Canoe Hound live streams before mine every Tuesday, man, he's doing good work. He has very much surpassed me in a lot of ways, and he deserves it. He's doing good work over there. Grace says, you know what, I'm just going to put that up. Need some advice, Jesse. I got a new knife, but it fits really tight in the sheath. Is there any way I can fix the sheath, or should I just plan on getting a new one that fits correctly? This depends. If that sheath is like leather or something, then over time it will adjust. Like the first few times, give your knife a twist before you take it out, especially if it's like a wet molded sheath. I remember at first I couldn't figure out why every time Jack Lore was showing off a new knife, that he just put in the sheath and everything, he always sort of went twist to sort of break the seal. And over time, it's not going to loosen. Well, it might loosen up to the point where your knife will just fall out. You don't want that to happen, but they'll adjust, right? When a knife is still new, it's like new shoes. You got to work them in a little bit. Look, if the sheath is plastic or Zytel or something, okay, forget about it. But if it's a good knife, then the sheath and the knife should grow to love each other. So I just, here's the thing: use it for the rest of the season. Like, use it a lot, and if after a few months or a couple of months it hasn't really fixed itself, then maybe think about either altering that sheath or buying a new one. What's the knife? That'll tell us, right? If you let us know what the if you let us know what the knife is, then I, or probably a few guys here, guys or girls, will be able to tell you what they think as well. Brandon likes my my Beer Blades and Bushcraft announcement. That's good. I like to know it. Yeah, as Tenenbaum says, tight is a lot better than loose, because the last thing you want, Grace, is a sheath that loosens up to the point where the knife comes out and you lose possibly an expensive knife. Oh, Canoe Hound is done for the night. Okay. Hey, Fox. Here from the phone while your laptop does a reset. Also, completely didn't get a notification for Dennis's live. Did you get a notification about this one? Now, granted, I set this one up really close to deadline tonight, so that can't really. Well, my mom says the debate is on now. See you later. I'll see how much I can take of that. I'm not even going near that one, but thanks for hanging out for a few minutes there, Mom. Oh, Grace, Hike with Mike says to rub the knife with wax. I hadn't even thought of that. And like Simone is echoing my question. What is the knife? Tyler's saying if it's good leather, you can wet form it. I've wet formed. I'm not stepping off camera for it, but my Australian Woodlord clone that's all over my early videos and that I keep talking about because it was my first real serious knife. I wet, excuse me, I wet formed that sheath around that knife. In fact, that's one of my really early videos back when I was like still shooting. I had hair and I was shooting in the kitchen of our old apartment on Island Street in Point St. Charles in the beautiful metropolis of Montreal. Man, it's amazing how long. I mean, I'm still pretty awkward on camera a lot of the time, but man, I was awkward, man. Like I was wooden, I leave the old videos up. I whenever someone says, "Oh, you got a YouTube channel," I always say, "Start in 2018. Don't really go much further back than that." But I leave them up because sometimes I watch those old episodes. Like, oh God, I watch my very first YouTube video more often than is possibly healthy. Because like someone who grew up as shy as I did, and I still really am. Okay, introvert, shy. Like I've said to you guys before, I'd be sitting there at a party and someone would walk up and ask me a direct question and I wouldn't be able to answer. I mitigated that by joining the Air Cadets, which you guys know, but I'm still pretty shy. And so setting up to do that very first video was a big deal for me. It's funny because I had done acting and extra work before, but like I didn't go to school to be an actor. I went to school to be a writer and director. I didn't even go to school to be an editor, and that really does show in my editing sometimes, I feel. But yeah, that first video, and I bought that Canon camera specifically because I realized that the only way I was going to be able to scratch the filmmaker itch is if I started a YouTube channel. And I wanted to start it about something that I would never get bored of. And I didn't want to just do like a vlog channel and, end up another sort of vlogger, influencer, blah, blah, blah. It's funny. I'm just rehashing stuff that a lot of this stuff I actually say in episode 2 of my, of this channel, incidentally, which is where I, for the first time, make a self-feeding fire, an upside down fire. When that thing worked and like burnt for hours without me having to add anything to it, I was so excited because I had only ever read about that kind of fire before. I'd never lit one. I'd never built one. And I know that what some people, between the layers of wood, they actually put dirt down to sort of even slow it down more, but I didn't do that. I didn't know about that at the time. But it worked fine. It worked great. I was back when I still had a hunt camp to go to. Good times. Lousy videos, but good times. That's me just. But it's because Tyler said that you can wet form it, and I was reminded of that old video of mine. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't, depending on the frequency I watch a channel. Okay. Yeah, I got the notice for Dennis's. Mark, you're liking the audio quality tonight? It's I have no idea. I forgot to put my headphones on, but I haven't invited anyone on yet, so it kind of doesn't matter. I'm enjoying the freedom of not being all, 3Bs. Maybe I should just call it the 3B live stream. Okay, you saw it on a Dave Pearson video called SOG. Okay, it's a SOG revolver. I have never heard of that Knife. But I will find the URL, or Simon will, or Simon will, or one of the mods who are here tonight might. Shall I look for it? I'm gonna go looking for it, and Simo's probably got it already spooled up and ready to post, right? Brave didn't shut down properly. Okay, restore the. I'll do it later. I don't want to be distracted from the conversation and stuff. So Grace, how big is that knife? What is it? Is it like a big heavy kind of chopper, or is it more like a 4-incher? You guys know that the 4-inch blade is kind of my home base, my comfort zone, and all the knives on my bucket list, they're all like around a 4, maybe 5-inch blade. Little guys like this make me want to explore like a 3-inch, maybe a 2.5, maybe not a 2.5, but like a 3-inch blade a little bit. Mike Morton, who sometimes hangs out with us and who used to put great videos up, he's all about the 3-inch blade. To him, even a 4-incher is too long. It's like, I got an axe. I'm never going to baton my knife. I occasionally baton with my knife, but really only if it's one of these. And the trolls come out of the woodwork. But like, I will occasionally, like, if I'm stuck and it's a big beefy knife, right? Like something like this, or my my Australian Woodlow Clown, something that's got a full tang and is, in French we say, costaud. It's a tough, it's a big bruiser. Then I'll baton with it if I need to. But I prefer using an axe to a knife. I like the axe as a tool much more. So, why am I talking about batoning? Oh yes, because I like a 4-inch blade because it does everything for me, and it's not kind of unwieldy like a big chopper could be. I know Simon likes choppers, and LT Survival, who he never has time to hang out with us anymore, but he has a couple of choppers that are really cool. But for me, the chopper is in the axe territory, and I'm really into like have the right tool for the right job, right? Like this I use as a food prep knife. This could be a bushcraft blade. I mean, I would rather a full-sized Nessmuk for a bushcraft blade, but this is my food prep knife. Okay, it's yeah, man, I had all kinds of nerves about this knife when I got it because this was my first convex, and I'm still not great at convex. Because I don't sharpen convex enough to be really like, to have it down pat. But yeah, this is my food prep knife, and so I don't use it for anything else. Okay, for those of you who really know Moras, do you know what this is? I'm just gonna leave that for a second. I have any number like the F1 or this Garberg, or my Woodlore clone. Those are sort of my go-to knives. That's my camp knife. And with axes, like the right axe for the right tool, right? This is a carving axe. It's you guys have seen this before because I love it, and so it shows up on screen a lot, right? It's a one-sided bevel, right? It's asymmetrical. Again, you guys have probably all seen this, but where's my camera? Let's not do that on the black background because you can't see anything. Piss on a biscuit. Can you see that? This is so hard because it's mirrored. Okay. Can you see how it's... Trust me on it. It's a right-handed bevel. Hewing axe, really. I mean, it's a carving axe, but the concept behind these side axes is the hewing axe, right? So that is a very mission. Whoops. That's a very mission specific model of axe. I mean, even the way the handle has this dramatic swoop to it, it's all about getting power and then getting control and then sort of being, sort of more of a jack of all trades, kind of whapping out a blank kind of thing, right? Whereas as a more general camp axe, all right, my camp carver, though this is designed to be a jack of all trades carving and camp axe, I'm calling this the camp axe for the conversation because I wasn't actually planning to have this conversation, so I didn't bring my small forest axe out. But it's a symmetrical grind. The carving part of it is that you can get up right under this beard, but it's a good sort of camp axe size, 16-inch handle. And so, I'm not going to use the Swedish carver over there for kindling. I don't know why I got on this conversation. I don't know why I started just espousing about having the right, but it all comes down to what I was saying about to me a 4-inch blade is home base, but I'm looking at some point when there's money and I'm buying stuff again, trying out some 3-inch blades. Let me see. Hike with Mike prefers a tomahawk over a knife. Is lighter than an axe. Okay. I think where you live, maybe a tomahawk makes more sense than up here. I've seen very few tomahawks around here. Batoning is not Canadian. Here's one option. The revolver 2.0. Okay, I will click on that. Can anyone click on that? I can't click on it because I'm not in. It's because I'm not in YouTube. Hold on. Hold on. Let me click over to the YouTube-age and mute myself so that I can click upon the URL. And this will show me the Knife. Oh, okay. That almost looks like a flipper. Oh, it's a fixed blade knife. Wow, it's weird. It looks like a flipper. Wait, it is. Oh, I see. It's because it's got a saw on one side and a knife on the other. Hence the revolver because it. Okay. All right. And I see the sheath. I think that if you just keep using it, that sheath will work itself out. Grace, I think you're going to be okay. Boom, 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 boom. Black Dog says, I want a 4 to 5 inch that I can plane branches with. That I can plane branches with 2 hands to make kindling. And that's the thing, there are so many different things you can do with a good knife. A good solid knife that's good and sharp. And I like tools that are not just one tool, that are, your everything. I mean, in my case, like with this axe, I can make slicing motions if I'm you can carve tent pegs, you can light, especially with this one, you can light a ferro rod, hammer pole, so you can be pounding tent pegs in or wedges, metal wedges even, trying to split a large log. I mean, I love tools that are a one-piece toolbox, which an axe like this is, and which a good bushcraft knife can be, especially those ones with the serrated back part of the blade. Now, I don't do serrated back parts of the blade, so I'm willing to give that up and carry a saw because they're almost always serrated exactly where I want to be carving notches and stuff. Shall we talk about the beer? Who's drinking tonight? Who's drinking tonight? Here's what I got, and I don't know if I think I've actually had this on before. La Marche. It's a stout, 5%, 473 ml. By Benelux, which is here in Montreal, kind of close to where I used to live. I think I've Hike with Mike is having an Natty Light. Yeah, Grace, just use it and it'll get good. Fox is going to add some vodka to whatever he's having. If I started a a whiskey and spirits channel. How many of you guys would watch that? I don't want to blow this pour. If this ends up being a perfect pour, I'm gonna call Serge and have him come on just so I can show him this pour. You know what I liked about Dennis's live stream tonight? He had 4 very interesting people on, 4 people who I follow and I respect, and I follow him and I respect him. And some of them are pretty good big names, and this is a credit to this community that there's no egos going on. And like his live streams always have this real cool homey vibe to them. It's like, I mean, you're clearly not watching his living room, but because of just the real easy way he's got about him, it's like you're just watching a bunch of friends hang out together. It's good. It's got that kind of toasty kind of espresso, there's like a hint of molasses in there. Not like a smoke, but like a toasty thing there, like a toasty, like toast, toast. Yeah. It's got a good weight. Sometimes I feel like I crack open a stout or a porter and it doesn't have a good weight on the tongue. It just feels too light. That's always a bit of a letdown, but this has that sort of a creaminess to it and a weight in the mouth. It's good. So it looks like some of you guys would be down to that channel. Yeah, if I do it, I'll let you guys know. I'll put a link. Excuse me. Hike with Mike, can't drink heavy alcohol. You stick to very light beers. The thing is, when I'm having a scotch, I mean, well, you guys have seen me crack a whiskey or 2 or 3. Especially because some of my bottles are like money. I like to pour like an ounce and a half, 2 ounces, like is, I guess, the traditional. And so I'll do that if I'm having one. But if I'm going to have more than one wheat dram in a night, I'll try to sort of drop it down a bit. Also, a lot of what I drink is cask strength. So, you don't need to drink a lot before you've kind of wrecked your taste buds. Yes, sir. I'm real proud of that pour. It's too bad Serge wasn't around to see it. You're going to go get some rye and avoid the debates. Smart man. Smart man. So something I wanted to ask you guys. Let me see. Is that? I hope that works. I put a post up, by which I meant I put a poll up. If I moved my stream to Monday nights, how many of you guys would still hang out, versus how many just can't do Mondays, or if there's another night that can't do Mondays, Jess, but whatever, Wednesdays or something like that. Let me know if that link actually works, because it wouldn't let me just take the link from the post itself, so I kind of had to link to the entire community page. But yeah, go vote over there, because I'm thinking of moving my night, because I feel it might be a little awkward that I'm on at essentially the same time as Dennis. I'm not sure I'm going to do this. It's just I want to sound out you guys, and see how that concept comes off before I make any major decisions. Also, because I kind of want to have Dennis on 1 or 2 of my live streams, and nice. And like, I'm not going to ask him to move. He's going like gangbusters. His live stream is much bigger than mine, so I'm not going to ask him to to move his. But I think that I want to talk to that guy about stuff. I want to have him on. I want to have him as a guest. I want to interview him. Denise would be an awesome guest. Oh, Dennis. Yeah, exactly. Yes. I think you got auto-corrected there. Well, and here's Tenenbaum saying that you don't know if being on after Dennis is bad. And, it's been good for me because back in the day, after his live stream was over, he would do he and some of his viewers would do he and some of his viewers would do a raid on mine. And I feel that that's how I got some of you guys here to notice me. Well, that's how he got some of you guys to notice me. So, I mean, it's only because we sometimes overlap, right? Like if he goes into like a 3 or 4 hour event, then we overlap a lot. Tenenbaum says I'm like the late show. It's funny. I like it. Yeah. So anyways, go and vote. And we'll probably talk about it a bit over the next few weeks before I make any major decisions. And while we're at it, maybe I should make a post over there to see if there's anyone you guys want me to try and have on. I know Simo had a couple of really good suggestions a while ago and stuff, but he intends to stick to 2 hours this season. Oh, well, maybe I don't have to worry about it then. Foxit wants to see how dark this beer is. That's a legit stout. That's the way I like him. It's pretty early in the night to go inviting anyone on, but I don't know. Just in case someone wants me to save me from myself and bring a little interest to this convo. Very dark. I like them dark. I'm good to like browns or ambers or whatever. Once you get to like Pilsner and Lager, I'm like IPA. Fox, that's almost as dark as my soul. I'm like, no, you stole my line. It has a Secchi disc depth of. That's got to be like some real anorak knowledge about color theory or light theory or something. I was thinking this week. I've been thinking a lot lately because Montreal and Quebec City and the Lanaudière region are going back on lockdown tomorrow. I don't know about other places. I just assumed this was widespread, but I might be wrong that Quebec has a color-coded system for this COVID thing. Green, yellow, orange, red. So we're back in we're back in red. So there's going to be a whole bunch of we're being locked back down. Not as bad as before, but in all the ways that are just making me write off the rest of this year. Because they say they're locking us down for 28 days, but anyway, but it's making me think about all the stuff that I haven't done this year and how I hope to hell that this is all done by the time next season, next bushcraft season rolls around. Because I have something planned for the future that I want to talk about, but I don't want to talk about it until I've got the whole plan really, really nailed down, and B, I know this is going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen because it's a couple of years off. But anyways, and I have to concentrate on the exciting stuff because when I saw the red zone, I got really tail spinning. I'm really tail spinning this week, guys. You guys know I have a bit of a black dog, who comes and sits on me every now and again, makes it hard for me to see the light. But this week's been rough. And it's funny how you can replace, and I'm not backing this as a concept. I'm saying sometimes you can kind of inadvertently replace your excitement about being in the outdoors with excitement about toys or Yugas or something. Oh, I'm getting a great new knife. I'm getting a great new axe. I'm so jazzed. But that's like a proxy for, wow, I'm going to be going to Algonquin or something, Because even now, like I look at these toys, right? And they're all they're all cleaned, they're oiled, they're well cared for. But to me, they still kind of smell like the outdoors because that's what they're designed for, right? This is not designed as a kitchen knife. This Garberg here was designed for someone who is going to spend a lot of time in the outdoors around fires. These people design things for people who are going to be in the outdoors around fires. How cool a job is that? And, sensible designs. They're not designing cheapo knives for Canadian Tire or Target, right? Where, yeah, we're going to do a camping line. That'd be cool. No, these are serious. I mean, this council tool, that's designed by a man who knows. And if any of you who've been watching me a lot have seen this guy on my panel discussions, he knows axe work. He knows what it's like to build a log cabin with like a knife and a saw, with an axe and a saw. He knows what it's like to be around a campfire, cutting wood for that campfire. People who design from a position of knowing, you can see the joy that they get from being out there in the tools that they design. Look at how sexy this thing is. It's got a snap to it. Like every line says, I am an outdoors tool. It's exciting. But it's easy to just get excited about these tools and sort of sit there and like next thing you know it, you've missed an entire season. And you only think about that when it's late at night and you're tossing and turning kind of thing. Then you go and look at your tools and it's like getting excited about my axes isn't enough anymore. I want to get excited about my axes while sitting in the forest again, and I'm not alone. A lot of you guys are probably feeling the same way. A lot of guys who I know are feeling the same way. Let me hold on. I just realized I'm oh, I see. Okay, so it's a testing protocol for freshwater lakes. Secchi disc. You drop it and drop the disc in the water. See how deep you can still see the. Okay, I get it. Yeah, Simone says, forget about next year. Focus on bushcraft at the home. Hike says, if you're focused on the future, you're anxious. If you are focused on the past, you're depressed. If you are focused on the present moment, you are at peace. Lao Tzu. Yeah, it makes sense. But I'm, feeling dark is kind of what I do. Black Dog. No, we do not. Thank the gods we do not have an election. It looked like we might for a while there. Wait, unless I've missed something. Because we just had a throne speech. And because I don't want to bore you guys with a lot of BS about Canada's political system, because I'm not JJ McCullough, but I will very briefly say, currently we have a minority government, and we just had a throne speech. And if all the opposition parties vote against the stuff in that throne speech, the government falls. New election. Currently, last time I checked, two of the opposition parties were absolutely going to vote against it. But this sort of the kingmaker opposition party right now was going to vote with the government, because apparently they and the Liberals had negotiated a way forward. So that was the last thing I saw. Now, if you saw something and we're suddenly going into an election, I'm going to be very, very pissed off. Very. Am I going to check that now? No, I'll check it later. I don't want to get all grouchy and sweary while I'm on screen here. But I know that a lot of people I know up here are watching your election down south, guys. There you go. Yeah, I'm liking that beer. So anyways, we narrowly avoided an election, I hope. Simo, am I missing something? Did something happen today that I just didn't see a headline for? They did agree. Yeah, okay. I was sure they would. I was absolutely sure they would. When you're an Eeyorian, you expect the worst and hope for the best. That's kind of exactly me, actually, Mr. Hike. Mr. Hike. That's pretty much exactly who I am. I feel. Am I done this beer? Well, I'm not done the beer. The can is empty. This is a good beer. I'm gonna buy it again. It's hard to find. Ugh. It's hard to find, but it's worth it, I think. What am I kicking? Sorry, guys. I've got a lot of crap under my desk here. Wow. We're good. We're good. I was sort of getting all caught up in stuff there, but we're good. Lolly Orion. I think, Grace, you needed a space there. Oh, thank the gods. Yeah. Anyways, that's enough of that kind of stuff. I don't want to bore you guys with a bunch of pedantic political crap. This would be a terrible time to be going into an election, though. Absolutely. Oh, Saskatchewan's having an election? It's a terrible time for it. So I don't know. Does anyone want to come on and talk about something that's not politics? Or anyone have any bush stories? Has anyone actually been to the woods lately? You know who we need on here? We need like Nate Muskoka. We need Kevin Callan. We need Pine Martin. Those guys are full of great woodsy stories. So good. So good. Dennis has good stories too. He's a good storyteller. He's kind of exuberant in a lot of ways, like when he's telling stories. Hey, is Tyler still with us? Mr. Rodriguez, are you still Muskrat Jim? Yeah. Tannenbaum, of course living in the woods would count. Hell yeah. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. That would be amazing. Tannenbaum, where'd you get that logo? Tell your wife I think her new gray hair is really cool. I saw it on the Book of Faces. Very nice. Goes well with her eyes. Hear that, guys? That's the sound of dry freaking hands because I'm always washing them. Getting a little cracked and flaky. Kind of like my personality. So, yeah, some of you guys would watch if I did a whiskey and spirits channel. So I'll give that a think. I went and bought a prop barrel this week. Which, if I decide not to do the channel, I can just use as a decor piece. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Not as a replacement for Rain Dance Bushcraft, but as a much, much simpler, like set the camera up, talk, cut kind of thing. Not the, not the editing extravaganza that I do with this channel. The bomb is a stylized version of the old Mac error symbol. I remember that, and you just added that in. Okay. Oh, really? It's okay. You know, it's funny because this is non-bushcrafty, but I will take a very small amount of time. But oh, thanks, Ike. Today I was sitting there and I was happily working away, and I suddenly remembered when I was a teenager. So like we're talking like late 80s here, cruising into the early 90s. Some classmates and I had these they were like, it was a action figure line called Sectors. Okay, and so it was all these action figures of guys who were part insect, like their heads were insects, and they had like, and then their steeds were large, were big flies or spiders or whatever. And for the insect's feet, it was like a faux kind of Halloween fur glove. So you'd put your hand in, and it would be like the feet of the steed that these guys are. It's just this popped into my head, and then that started this cascade of things. Then I was remembering steroids, something. They were like robots with like saws or chainsaws or big drills right here, and like their heads were cockpits that opened, and you could put these tiny silver guys in. I mean, this was obviously like a Tomy thing from Japan, imported into the States and sold by Hasbro or something, you know. I just went through all these toys that used to be so cool back in the day, and yeah, it's just, it's funny the things that just pop into your head for no reason, because I can't tell you why I was suddenly thinking about those. I have no idea what the catalyst was, or if there even was one. Oh well, all right, Black Dog. In that case, we'll just go. Yeah, the trade war was pretty bad. Yeah, and the thing is, man, all these wars, all these trade wars that are going on, they're hitting you guys way worse than they're hitting any of us, right? I mean, it wasn't great up here. It still isn't. Believe me, there's some stuff up here that's, that went way expensive, but that guy launched what, 4 trade wars at once, 3 or 4 trade wars at once. You can't win in that situation. Hold on a second. I just want to check on the link that Mr. Tenenbaum has shown. Here's the source. Oh, okay, I see it. All right. Give me 1 second. I will mute myself. Hey, Austin's Corners here. How's it going? Worldwide giveaway lottery goes until the 10/10. Good luck. 10 and Hertz. Hey, I don't think you've been here before. But you've got a giveaway lottery going on? Okay. I'll check that out after this this little live stream. Black Dog says he has a state forester coming out to his woods next week to see how he's done managing it. Do you have a tree farm? When I used to go moose hunting, I went moose hunting a couple of times, and we would go to the Mrs.'s cousin has a tree farm out in the Gas Bay. So I mean, it's a good 13-hour drive to get there. But it's a black sky site, so at night, man, all you see is stars, and there's like no one around. It's like a tiny town surrounded by woods, essentially. Was it called Saint Vianney or something like that? I don't know, or maybe that was the next town over. But it's weird that you're surrounded by trees, but they're not really in rows, but they kind of are. It's weird. So it's not completely natural, and when you get that kind of monoculture forest happening, there's a lot of forest creatures that you never get to see or hear. Hold on. Austin says, you're glad this was conveniently scheduled along with the other big thing, live streaming. You talking about Canoe Hound's live stream earlier in the night? Is that what you're talking about, Austin? Tannenhertz, you're in Hamburg. Yeah. Tenenbaum here, who's with us as well. He's living in Sweden, and hold on a second here. I'm looking for. I was just going to look up to see the time zones, but I mean it's. Sometimes by the time I finish at 11, man, I'm like, Tenenbaum, how are you still alive? But anyways, thanks for coming by, and being up at 4:00 in the morning. Such a good beer. We're I see what Austin is saying. Okay, Austin, the political circus on TV right now. Yes, my mom cut out of my live stream to go watch that. It doesn't hurt, not much. Yeah, I like old growth forest as well. Hike, and the thing about this tree farm that we would hunt on is it gets torn out and replanted every 20 or 30 years. I think he's on a 20-year cycle. I don't quite remember. So it's a fast growing tree he's got planted. It's been a long, long time. So it's something fast growing. Every couple or few decades, rips it all out and replants. If I remember correctly, I have two things. It's a while ago that I've been there. And second, the guy's Gaspesian. So when he's speaking French, I don't know how to make how different they sound than the rest of us clear to you guys. He'll be talking and I just don't get a thing. Like, so I don't know if I got that story proper. Austin, topic of choice. My main thing that I was going to talk about is kind of freewheeling. I want to talk about whatever you guys are into, but I wanted to ask you guys if I moved my live stream to Mondays or maybe Wednesdays, how many of you guys would that be? How many of you would be good with that? And I put a link somewhere to a poll I put in my to a poll I put up on my channel, which I cannot find. Channel dashboard. I'll try to find it again so that I can boom. Come on, foo. Hold on a second here. This is so pro, eh? Trying to find stuff while I'm supposed to be just yapping at you guys. Okay. I'm gonna put that up again. Copying. basting. Yeah, just if I did move it, I'm not sure that I'm going to, but if I did, because if I move it and then I lose like half of you guys from the, well, I lose half my viewership. I don't want to do it, right? Softwoods grow fast. Yeah, it was something softwood. In fact, I think it might have been just, I don't remember. And they might be a bit like American Cajuns. I'm not entirely sure. It's not entirely sure. Like what the nearest, because the thing with Gaspesians is the Francos and the Anglos both sound completely different than the rest of the province, so it's hard to understand them no matter which side of the linguistic divide they grew up on. Yeah, Black Dog, I'm serious, man. That trade war was a mistake on the American side. That's for sure. They wanted more access to our milk industry, and so they got it, but they got like a tiny percentage, and immediately all the Canadian milk producers put a logo on. So we just look for the logo, and it's not an anti-American thing. In Canada, you don't really have to spend money on organic milk. In the States, you really should, just because the rules and the regs and what you can give to the cows and put into the milk is so much more freewheeling in the States, whereas up here it's much more stringent, and there's a lot of stuff that you're absolutely not allowed to put in. So people just look for the logo. Tenenbaum. Okay, so yeah, so from the Appalachians, maybe. I know in some parts of Maine, man, they sound really unique. Stick with Monday, please, if possible. I hope. Yeah, I'll give it a try. If I move it, it'll most likely be Mondays. I'm just sort of catching up. We were a dairy farm, milked about 42 small woods. The first had a lot of large walnut. That's fairly mature. Man, walnut's a nice wood. I like walnut trees. There's a lot of nice. It's such a nice wood. The workbench that I built, it's all pine, spruce, fir, whatever. Is it SPF? Is that what they call it for dimensional lumber? It's all 2x4s. But for my through tenons, I cut kerfs into them and put in walnut wedges to jam everything up real good and tight. And I have 2 strips of walnut sort of as an accent on one end of the bench. Such a nice wood. So I don't know. Does anyone have anything to say? Anyone want to come on and say some stuff? Outdoorsy stuff. As usual, let's not talk about politics or guns, but what did you guys do this summer? Because I wrote my summer off, and I just got depressed and hard to deal with. I said that on Dennis's live stream because he was asking his guests what they had done. I know, like Mud Dauber. Oh, he's not on. Not Mud Dauber. Outdoor Dauber. He hit the woods a lot this summer. But SPF, yeah, spruce, pine, and fir. That's it. Roanoke is the worst accent I dealt with. Even India is easier to understand. I don't know what Roanoke sounds like. Feeling a little run down here, guys. Just a little rundown. Mm. Is that one of you folkies texting me? Nope. It's not. So I will ignore it until afterwards. I discovered something fairly interesting. I was talking about this with another YouTuber. And it's interesting how if I do like an axe review or a knife review or something like that, the numbers are high, especially if it's a popular axe. But if I do a family hike or a camping trip, the numbers just aren't there. I wonder why that is. Because you look at a guy like Joe Robinette, and he never does reviews, and he's at what 1.4 million now. And the reason why I'm thinking about this is because the other YouTuber I was talking with, his camping videos don't do as well either. Like I watch a lot of camping videos. Like maybe I view YouTube differently than other people do or something. But man, I'm doing the dishes. I put on a camping video. I put on like some Joe Robinette, or I put on some Scrambled Oab, or I put on some Dennis. Hike with Mike. If you're still here, I've watched a lot of your videos. While okay, bye, Tannenhertz. See you next time. I'll go and check out your channel. I've seen your channel before. I'm gonna go check you out again. I don't know. Like I put these videos, or like if I'm kicking back at the end of the day, got a little scotch, I'm gonna watch a canoe video or a camping video or a little a hiking video or something. So I wonder, like I don't know. Like, do you guys prefer tool videos or tools and toys videos, reviews and stuff like that? Technique videos? Like, is it just the straight up the straight up camping and bushcraft videos just aren't as interesting or something? And I'm not saying you guys are because you guys are probably the ones who watch my videos the most. But like, I wonder why that is. Because bushcraft isn't tools. It isn't toys. Bushcraft is skills and enjoyment of the outdoors. So I wonder, it's just a funny little thing. Because I look at channels who've been doing this less time than me. Dennis and Mal from Quebec Homesteading, and they're both monetized now, right? And they're both doing great. And I am not complaining about that because I think that they both really deserve it. But I can see why Mal's doing well. She's doing a homesteading channel, and she's always showing, here's how we do this, here's how we do that. It's very informative stuff. And I can see where Dennis is getting numbers from, because his stuff is fairly informative as well. There's a lot of really good stuff there. And so I've just been, I don't know, thinking about my own content lately, and where I can maybe make changes and where I just can't right now, because we're about to be locked down again starting tomorrow. So I'm not again going to see the woods for a bloody long time. And I'm wondering if maybe I should be altering what I do a little bit more than I thought I should. Damn it, it's the end of the beer. Regarding Joe, for a variety of reasons, I found his content lately to be a little less interesting. Some of the factors that have led to that are totally out of his control. I think I wonder how many YouTubers are in his place, like in this community. Because yeah, some of the stuff are completely out of his control. I do cycles. Like at one point I watched a lot of Wrangler Star. Then when it all became like politics and ARs and dirt bikes, I sort of drifted back, drifted away. I came back a little bit, because they've moved. They're at a different homestead now, and I want to see that place. And I like the stuff where he's fixing up his homestead. I like the stuff where he's sharpening axes. I like the stuff where he's talking about his huge workshops. So I've started watching him a little bit more. Joe, I sort of come in and out over time, because with all channels, I come in and out over time. And so it's like, I say that fully aware that I don't like it when people do that to my channel, because when they drift away, I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong and how can I fix that? That's because I have an inner critic who is on steroids, right? I'm constantly second guessing myself. So, I mean, obviously, if someone drifts away, it's got to be my fault, right? Like, there's all kinds of channels, like bushcraft channels, whiskey channels, that I started drifting in and out of. Unless somebody really pisses me off, I always come back after a while. There are a couple of channels that I just cut the ties to completely, but generally speaking, and so I wonder if it's just that sometimes you need something different for a while in your viewership, not in your viewership, in what you're viewing. Yeah. I like channels where there's a lot of different stuff happening, and where if I don't watch a video because they're not particularly doing something that I'm interested in that week, it doesn't mean that I'm drifting away from their channel. It's just meh. But the next video is gonna, suck me right in. And I think that when there's a lot of different content on your channel, you as a creator run less chance of burning yourself all the way out. Let me just catch up with the side chat here. Excuse me. I went camping twice this summer. I went camping once. You have my envy, sir. Yeah, Tenenbaum, that's an interesting... Oh. Hey, hold on. Let me get my headphones on because I can't hear anything. How's it going?
Yo, what's up, man? What's happening?
Ain't much going on. I caught your last live. Oh yeah, you knew that I caught your last live stream. Sorry. It's just I like the sound of your live streams, man. Like, both of those mics sound really good.
Yeah, it's quite impressive, the quality of the pod mic, actually, the Rode pod mic. When you look at the cost of the pod mic versus the Shure SM7B, there's really not that much of a difference I hear between the two of them.
Yeah, and I'm bringing it up because I've noticed. I guess you've been dialing it in over time, I guess.
I have, yeah. I've
been
just becoming more comfortable with like the proximity effect of the microphone and kind of listening to my voice and dialing in just how it sounds.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's that was a good live stream too, though. That was a fun live stream. I liked it. It was one of those where I sort of had it on while I was washing dishes, which is how I watch most of my YouTubes these days. I'm like, trying to just keep gotta clothe the baby for daycare tomorrow. Gotta have lunches ready. So I have the laptop on in the kitchen, and I just let it roll. Watch everything that I've been meaning to see.
It was fun.
Yeah,
it was a fun live stream. It was just kind of one of those things where, like, I go off topic a lot and go down these big rabbit holes.
Well, that's kind of tonight for me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah. It's so what's good?
Not much. Actually, in the Northwest Territories tonight, there is a massive. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the right term here, but it's a geo-electric storm or a geomagnetic electric storm.
Okay.
Where the northern lights are very prominent for the next couple of days. So we're going to head out shortly and try to capture some time lapses of the northern lights tonight. I have a brand new camera and a new lens, so we're going to break that in.
Yeah. I remember you saying that you had picked up a new camera, and are you using it for your live streams as well?
I used it for the last live stream. However, the live stream was pretty dark, and I went back and realized that I had my aperture was set quite high in it, so I needed
Okay.
to make those small adjustments. And with the new camera I just bought as well, you can live stream off it, but you need to do it using clean HDMI out, and it's only available in manual mode. And I'm not very familiar at all with using DSLRs. In fact, most of my videos I've shot have been on my iPhone. So
Yeah.
having this like high piece of technology in my hand is quite intimidating. And just trying to figure everything out. So we set it up. It looked good, and I had a TV plugged in. Or sorry, I had my camera plugged into a TV so I can get a feel for what it looked like. And it looked great on the TV, but I guess YouTube must have compressed it a little bit.
They
And
do.
yeah,
It really does.
came out quite dark.
Yeah. Exciting stuff, though.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a brand new Canon 90D, and
That's what I want to get.
yeah, it's a
Because
nice
I've got
camera.
the 80D right now, but I want the 4K
Yeah.
for shooting, not for. I don't want to put up 4K, but I mean, I've said this a million times that I want the editing freedom of being able to zoom in much further in edit
Right.
for like a product video or a product review or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I went with the Sigma 1.8 18 to 35 lens, and that's a pretty decent lens.
That's probably better than the 18 to 35 that Canon sells you with their stuff, the kit lens.
I think so. Yeah. Like when I
Yep.
bought the camera, I actually just opted for the body only, and I didn't want to buy the kit lens, and then I forked out a few extra dollars on top of it because I think for the kit lens it was an additional $500.
Yeah.
And I just kind of saved that $500 and put a couple $100 on top of it, and then bought this higher end piece of glass that seems to be much better than what would have came with the camera. I think
I'm assuming the Sigma was like 750.
it was a little bit more than that. Yeah, it was. I think they retail for like $9.99 for the lens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's they say it's basically like the ultimate lens. It's essentially like 3 prime lenses into one. It has some very good high definition, and it's a great lens, but unfortunately for me it's way beyond my capabilities, so it's like I'm gonna have to grow into it.
Yeah, but that's that was me when I first bought my first SLR as well, and that was part of the adventure. It's the part it's the part of the adventure that's not maybe hunting and fishing or learning to do perfect feather sticks, but it's still part of the whole sort of the gestalt,
Yeah,
of being a bushcrafter on YouTube or a outdoorsman on YouTube. Is that some of the stuff that you're experiencing and learning is not outdoorsy stuff. It's very technical, and but yeah, the picture quality, all worthwhile. Absolutely. So these geomagnetic storms, I want to hear about that because I have never seen the Northern Lights. I mean, we've spoken on and off camera, and you know that I'm dying to get up there at some point. So like what form do these storms take? Is it just a normal sort of rainstorm? But like I've read about them, but I don't really know much about them.
yeah, like it's again, I'm not very familiar with like the science behind them, but I guess there's some electromagnetic activity in the atmosphere that supercharges the sky or the atmosphere, and then it really accentuates the northern lights. So normally on a normal night, you can always see the northern lights. They're kind of a faint green, purple. Like you can see them, but last night, for an example, I don't even know if I can, but if you Google, let me see if I can find it real quick. But if you Google a Yellowknife Northern Lights and just adjust the search criteria for like the last 24 hours,
yeah,
I'm sure somebody in the north had posted some photos of it. And last night, I mean, it looked like something out of a winter wonderland. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The entire sky from horizon to horizon was just green and purple and pink and it was like something out of a fairy tale. Like that's how intense the lights were last night.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they forecasted for 3 days. So this is the second night.
Because I'm wondering if these storms aren't, if it's not just like a solar storm, right? Because it's energy from the sun interacting with our upper atmosphere that creates those, isn't it?
Yes, that is correct.
So it might just be that there was like the sun off gassed something huge, or something like that.
Yeah, again, I'm not very familiar with the science behind it, but
me neither. But I'm gonna look it up once we're done here. Let me tell you.
Yeah, so I'm just googling here now. It says, "What is a geomagnetic storm?" They're disturbances within the Earth's magnetic field that can result in many hours of vibrant aurora borealis at high latitudes, Yukon, Northwest Territories, Nunavut, and at the lower latitudes in southern Canada. But these storms often occur when there's CME, which is a chronicle mass injection, I guess.
Right.
That's emitted from the sun. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking about.
Right. So currently tonight, if you look at the storm watch, the entire Northwest Territories is like the epicenter of this geomagnetic storm tonight. So most everyone is out with their cameras tonight trying to capture some good photos.
Interesting. It's funny that even living with the Northern Lights is kind of a quotidian part of your life, that a big one will still get everyone out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
I think it's just because you're so used to seeing the greens and kind of the purples, but when you get a good storm, you'll get all the different colors. You got the pinks, the oranges, the blues, the greens. So it's just something a little bit different from what we're used to seeing.
Yeah. One day I'm going to see them. I'm going to see them. Actually, interestingly, what we were just talking about right before you came on, how like I see in the side chat, some people are talking about what makes them sort of drift away from a channel and come back. What do you like seeing in a channel?
That's a great question. I'm definitely guilty of that. I tend to I think as my interests change, like right now, for an example, whenever I log into YouTube, my home screen is full of camera recommendations at the moment, because that's all I'm focused on is just cameras, how to use this camera I have, different lenses, and that's all of my recommendations at the moment. So I kind of feel like it's sometimes the algorithm that kind of pulls and pushes you away from certain channels because of just the overexposure of suggested videos. So if, let's say, for an example, I watched the UFC fight Saturday night, and I spent some time Monday morning looking at some of the follow-up videos, just some of the recap videos. And now it's like, again, my feed is full of camera videos, recommendations, and UFC videos, and not as many bushcraft videos. So sometimes the channels that I don't watch very often, or channels that don't post as often, they kind of get lost in the background. So I think the frequency of the channels that post is what's important. I know I'm guilty for it, that I'm not very frequent at all or consistent with my videos. So mine kind of come in and out of the algorithm. So I think that that's kind of what would push and pull someone towards your channel, and just whatever interest that you have at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. And I was saying how I like channels that have a variety of different things, like not all product reviews. Like if a channel is only product reviews, I'll get bored pretty fast.
I got you. Yeah.
If it's like, I've got a pretty high threshold for camping videos. Like I can watch a lot of camping videos before I'm like, I wonder what the next channel has to offer. But like I can see where a channel that's only camping videos might experience some of the same drift as we've been talking about here.
Yeah.
I like to see videos that are in places that I have never been. I watched a series of bushcraft videos by someone who lives in China.
Oh, wow.
And man, I didn't understand a word they were saying, and obviously neither did the person who was writing the subtitles. But like, how you look at those Chinese paintings and the mountains are all like these really weird kind of bumps?
Yeah.
That shit is real. Well, that stuff is real. They actually look like that. That's not just some, Chinese artistic license. That's like landscape that I have never and probably will never see. But I want to know how it smells over there. I want to know what the mean temperature of that area at in June is.
Yeah.
And these people are just it's funny because like a lot of the skills that you and I show and that some of these people show, well, they show those skills too. So what I want to know about that is, are they traditional skills that they've been developing over thousands of years as well, like um, um, parallel evolution,
Right.
or has the increasingly digital world made all of us homogenize around Raymir's? This
Yeah.
is the kind of stuff that I think about in the shower, dude. It's like, it's not a great place in here, but I mean, this is the kind of thing. This is why I'm no fun at parties.
No,
But
like it's a great question. Absolutely. Like, was that something that originated over there? Like, is that their lost, like their long lost arts of, bushcraft, or is it something
yeah,
that they're watching westernized versions of bushcraft and now they're replicating it for their environment?
yeah,
And I
and
think, when you look at Ray Mears, I mean, he's definitely like the founding father of it all. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
back in the old YouTube days, back in, I call it the 360p days, back before 480p was a thing.
yeah.
I mean,
You're going
Ray,
back a while there, Holmes.
that's it, man. And, that's, 2008, 9, 10,
Yeah,
um, and, but when you put in bushcraft, I mean, it was literally Ray Mears or it would have been, Les Stroud. That was it. That's the only
yeah,
two guys I really remember. And I mean, to be honest with you, I was more of a Les Stroud fan than I was a Ray Mears fan, but, they're the founding guys, right?
yeah,
So, has their influence, spread? Most likely. But again, that kind of goes back to like a lot of these bush channels. Like I find even myself, it's like you can only do so many different skills or so many different ways of doing something before you start to recycle other people's material. And then it just turns
yeah.
into another channel that's just another bushcraft channel. And I spoke to a friend of mine, actually. He's been on my show a few times. He's one of my mods over there, Jasper. And, he's kind of big into the van life scene. And
Mm-hmm.
we talked about how some channels kind of paint themselves into a corner because they only, like you say, they're only doing product reviews, or they're
Yeah,
only doing fishing videos, or they're only doing van life videos, or they're only doing bushcraft videos. And then it's like at some point in time that becomes stagnant. And I know I've definitely felt that in the past where I'm like, if I need to shoot another winter camp video with a wood stove, it's just like I can't,
mm-hmm.
like it just turns into it's just monotonous after a while. And that's kind of why I enjoyed branching out into the bushcrafting side and then the van life series, because it was some diversity in my channel. So I just wasn't painted as one style of channel. Now I feel like that's behind me, and I feel like I want to kind of get in more to the live streaming and the podcasting and something else just to kind of branch
Oh,
out.
yeah. First of all, let me stop you and say, man, podcasting is awesome. I used to run a podcast with a friend of mine, and if I had any time, I would be doing it again. I'm an avid podcast consumer, and I really liked the process of putting them together because it was so different to being a YouTuber.
Yeah.
But I did want to ask if, like, further to what you were saying about how, you were getting tired of just, okay, it's another wood stove, cook a steak, camp in the tent. Let's
Right.
try it. For me personally, that same force. Sometimes when I'm sitting in the bush, I'm not turning the camera on today. I just want to do the stuff, enjoy being here. I'm not
Yeah.
turning it on, knowing that meant that I was not going to get a video up at my usual weekly spot and would take the hit in the algorithm because of it.
Yeah.
Just because sometimes I just can't do it this week.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, we went out yesterday to shoot a video and we ended up just not shooting the video because we had such a great time. I'm like, you know what? Let's just enjoy it for what it is today and make it a special day for you and I. And then, we'll post a video next week, or if not, well, the week after. But there's a lot of times where, like you say, it's like you get in that situation where you just enjoy it for what it is. And a part of my absence for those 18 months or so was exactly for that. It was like every time we went over, it turned into a hassle. It was a product I was trying to push out. It was something I was trying to do, and it was losing its authenticity because it wasn't natural to us anymore. It felt like it was forced, and I was like, okay, well, turn the snow machine around, and I'll drive in from this angle, and you stand here, and it just wasn't fun, right? So I feel it.
And you get a lot less done in a day when you're filming everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just looking down the side shot here because they've been talking while we've been talking. Oh, my mom's back. Hi. she cut out on me to go and watch the debate or whatever in the States. Oh yeah, in fact, she mentions once when we were still living in Winnipeg, one night the Northern Lights were very prominent over Winnipeg, but they didn't wake me up to see them, Mom. So it's funny that we call these things the Northern Lights, but I guess one of the benefits of living in Canada is even Southern Canada is pretty far north. But I don't think they come that far south very often because I've never seen them here in Montreal, that's for sure. I'm just checking out here. Black Dog says Chainsaw and Forestry Channels is his go-to right now. Yeah. Okay, I'm caught up. They're still chatting about Northern Lights and sort of what channels they like to see and stuff. A lot of them are saying the same as we were saying, that variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you actually starting a podcast then?
Yeah, like I think I'm going to eventually. My plan is to maybe have a podcast where I reach out to other YouTube channels, at least at the beginning, and maybe do like an interview based show, and just to have like not necessarily in the bushcraft field or in the outdoors field, but it could be anybody, just, things that I find interesting, and just to kind of just have just open dialogue, just to have a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
And just have it, so it's just more of a learning experience for both. And then to try to bring something to the viewers and to the listeners. I think I would probably start off with maybe like an audio based at first, and then try to swing it into like a video audio podcast. So I would have it posted on YouTube, and then have the audio portion posted on all of the major podcasting platforms.
Yeah.
But there's a lot.
Joe Rogan does that, right?
Yeah,
for sure. He does an audio and a video. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot to think about there, but that's kind of how I would like to see things go in the next year, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's easier said than done.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If you're starting something like that, line up your ducks so that you don't start and run out of content like 3 weeks in, kind of thing,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But that sounds good.
I would probably do it maybe like ideally I would like to get like 10 or 12 in the bank and then start to post them. So I already have quite a few stored, and then kind of keep it going.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. Makes perfect sense because when we were doing a podcast, we didn't do it that way. We would do one that week and get it up on the Sunday. And so some weeks we were like, holy crap, dude. Go. Right, and if you've got like 10 or 12 in the bank before it really eventually you will catch up to them unless you're really on the ball, but especially at the beginning where you're still sort of figuring out the lay of the land, that can be very valuable.
Yeah, I agree.
Extremely valuable. Yeah.
And I think the reason why we've been more frequent with our live streams is just kind of getting used to just being on the spot live talking, getting comfortable with the audio equipment, getting comfortable in front of the camera, because it's literally one of those things that if you don't use it, you lose it. Like even I missed a weekend before, and when we went live this Sunday, I for a moment I was nervous. I'm like, oh crap, here we go again. And I'm like, shit, I only done this like 2 weeks ago. Like, like, why am I nervous? And then we went live, and it was fine. But I found it's something you need to constantly work all the time.
Well, a lot of what I've seen of you, because I haven't caught every one of your lives, because I don't catch every one of anything. Life is just too high octane. But you do a lot of Q&As, I find, or you've done a couple of Q&A episodes.
Yeah, so it's more of just like an open AMA Q&A, just to kind of get people talking, and then usually I'll end up going off on a topic or two. But I haven't really set out a show yet where it's been like specific around a particular topic. It's just been, again, just getting comfortable with that format. I think I've only done maybe like 5 or 6 shows, live shows in the last couple of months. And I usually take them down right afterwards. Like, I just mark them private.
Yep.
And again, it's just getting comfortable with it. But like, once I get to that point, then I'll start to have actual topics and say, okay, next week's going to be maybe talk about, kind of what we're talking about now in terms of having variety on a YouTube channel, and like what it takes to have a successful channel, or some of the do's and don'ts. Like, don't paint yourself into a corner, because once you get that image or brand, then that's all you can do. And I kind of feel like, even moving forward, if I do decide to get into podcasts or like more frequent live streaming, do I continue it on this Up North of 60 channel, or do I start up a separate channel and broadcast it there? I have no idea. That's something I need to figure out.
That's a big question too, because it's a decision you got to get out of the way before you start, in a lot of ways, right?
Exactly.
So I can definitely see that being a now what.
Yeah, because I mean, for one good point would be that the Up North of 60 channel is a well-established channel, in the sense that it's been in the algorithm for 10 years. It's been a consistent channel. I don't have any controversy, any strikes on my channel. It's constantly growing. My engagement is fairly decent. My views are fairly decent. So it's good to attach that to the channel, because if I did reach out to other YouTubers or people who I want to interview, it's good to have a base where, if I'm just a guy starting off, hey, I'm starting off, I have 0 subscribers.
Yeah.
Would you like to be on my podcast? Or, hey, I'm a guy that's been established 10 years. I average 600,000 or 700,000 views a month. Would you want to be on my show? That's a little bit more enticing. But at the same time, I find that whenever I check my analytics after doing a live stream, that I'm losing subscribers every live stream.
Really?
But yeah. And I think I've found, so this is my theory on it, is that a lot of people that I subscribe to, and I think maybe we could all relate to this, that sometimes you subscribe to a channel that you come across a cool video, maybe like a backpacking video or something cool that you like, you subscribe to them, and then they don't post a video for years, and all of a sudden a channel pops up in your subscription list, and you're like, who the hell is this guy? And you flick it, you watch the video and you're like, I have no idea who this is, and then you just unsubscribe. A lot of my earlier camp videos was me standing behind the camera filming first person point of view. So my face really wasn't in the video. So I suspect sometimes when people see me sitting there, doing a live stream, they probably have no idea who I am, or if they're like, oh, that's that guy with the camera stand with the wood stove, maybe, right? So, but I've found, that I've been losing. I'm at a net loss for my subscribers for every live stream that I put out. So,
wow.
Wow, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's because live streams are fun.
I would have thought so.
It's good to do live streams. I mean, the reason I like doing these live streams is because right now people are chatting to each other in the side chat here, and I see that happening real time, and they'll fire a question at me, or there's a conversation. I'm like, oh, guess what? Man, you want to talk about engagement, and you know this well because you do this as well, and Mal does this, and that's like real-time engagement with your audience,
right?
So the fact that and at the end of the day, it can be kind of scary because you can get a real troll in there, right, and just taking you down, and like, how do you deal with that? But the fact that you're being rewarded by losing subs over it It's frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, I'm losing like 20 subs per show at least. 20, probably,
Wow.
20 per show. So it's because, I mean, like how you get your reports, right? So like I get my subs for the day. Usually Sundays and Mondays are my best days of the week. I'll average about 100 subscribers per day Sunday,
Wow.
and another 100 per day on Monday, right? So that's about 200 over 2 days. And then if I do a live stream, then it's usually the negative 22 or the negative 18 or the negative 25. And when I go back to the video, once the video is posted, then I get the analytics and I can look at it, and then I can see from that video people unsubscribe from that video. So that just goes to show me that was somebody who may have subscribed to me many years ago, who forgot who I was, or maybe they subscribed to me for some van life videos that I'm not doing anymore, or maybe they just don't like who I am and they unsubscribe. Fair enough, right? Like you can't please everyone, but it's not very fun to see that, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Fox, it says live streams are fun, but sometimes I got no idea what the heck. Yeah, I'm going to start that again because I just totally flubbed that. Live streams are fun, but sometimes I got no idea what the heck I want to say. I have that problem pretty close to every week. Oh, and my mom says she's been watching a lot of archaeological digs on YouTube since the lockdown. Lockdown has very much changed what I watch on YouTube because I watch so much more. But I watch a lot of Time Team. I have a list of jobs that I kind of wish I had gone into, right? Astrophysicist or astronomer, archaeologist. Like there's a bunch of stuff like that. Explorer in residence for National Geographic. I watch a lot of archaeology stuff right now too. And Fox, it says, you deal with troll by a troll. I grew up in the age of AOL chat rooms. If you want to deal with trolls, call on me. I don't know. How often do you get trolled?
I mean, like you mean on videos or sorry, like in the comment section or on my live streams?
I guess one big package, like because I've been trolled pretty hard in the comment sections, but every now and again someone pops up in the live stream and just I'm gonna show you my dick kind of thing. And it's like,
yeah,
God. Well, see, and that's usually Simon, boom, slams on it before I even get to it.
Yeah,
but
see, like there's like different types of trolls. There's your trolls who are just disruptive in the sense that they just use profanity or some sexual
stuff like that,
comment. And I mean, I just look at those as just a passerbyers, right? But then there's like another level where you can get trolls who try to make it sting a little bit, right? So they'll go in and they'll go deep on something, and then you question yourself sometimes. You're like, Jesus, man, that was that was unnecessary, or like, where did that come from? And then you may feel, and I'm sure we've all experienced this, and you think, well, do I know this person? Is this my neighbor, or is this the guy down the street, or is this somebody who I work with? And you don't really know. But I'm bad because I enjoy trolls because I'm a pretty quick guy when it comes to like, if I so my thing with trolls is that I always invite a troll for a conversation. I've never had one bite yet. So I'll go into the comment section and I'll say something along the lines of, you're hiding behind a one-way mirror. You have the anonymity of a troll account. There's no consequences for your actions. I'm the one here that's putting my face out, so you know who I am. So how about I invite you for a hangout? We can do a Discord, we can do a Skype, we can do whatever you want. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it face-to-face, man-to-man. And I've never had one person ever bite. So I just put it back on them in that situation. And then, of course, they're not going to bite because they're only acting like that because of the fact they have no accountability for their actions. So when faced with accountability, they flunk out and then they back out, and then that shows who they are. And then I feel that that's a win for me. But I'm a little bit childish in a sense because I'll engage in the comment section just to have a bit of fun with them. So yeah, it is what it is. I actually embrace it. I thoroughly enjoy it, to be honest with you.
Okay. I have
kind of like those telemarketers.
Oh yeah. Those guys I have no patience for. Them I'll just click. The reason why I keep this is probably from before you were watching, but like the reason I keep talking about batoning with this silly thing is because in the review video I did for this, a lot of the guys in the chat are like, hey, he's talking about this again. In the review I did for this, I always baton with my knives in my reviews, even though I don't really baton a lot with knives, is because I like to put them all through the same battery of tests. And if I break the knife, well, it's a review video, so it's good that I break the knife on video, right?
Right.
And there was this one guy said, you shouldn't baton with that. It's a rat tail, and it's a Canadian belt knife, dude. To which I said, well, yeah, but I like to put all the knives through the same battery of tests because all the knives I get should go through the same battery of tests. I said, look, if it's a folder, then no, right? Because I figured that if I engage with him in a respectful way, but he just started digging deep and posting back, to which point I just said, well, we all have our opinions. Good day. And then I mentioned to Simon, man, I got really trolled today. Or maybe it was Tyler, one of those guys. And next thing I know, the entire conversation was gone. And so either because these guys are my mods, so either one of them got a little uppity, or the guy, the troll whose name completely escapes me right now, maybe he thought that he wasn't coming off as good as he felt, and so he erased his original. Because if you erase the original message, the whole thread disappears, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but so ever since then, I make sure to fit in a little chat about batoning with this thing, just in case he's still watching.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can guarantee you he is, for sure. If he put that much interest in trying to get a reaction out of you, he's definitely watching.
Yeah. So every now and again, I'll just talk about,
Yeah.
Or, I'll say, geez, can I baton with this axe? I just don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. The comments that I find amusing are the ones that I posted like 8 years ago. And then some guy will go back and criticize something or say, oh, you should have done this, or don't do this because of whatever reason. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'll respond, okay, I'll build a time machine and go back to 2013 and and make that adjustment. Look at the date of the video, my guy. It's like 8 years ago. Do you think it matters anymore? Like,
it doesn't.
It doesn't matter anymore.
No. It's funny because Neil deGrasse Tyson tells this story about James Cameron, in that they were at the same dinner party, and Neil deGrasse Tyson said to James Cameron, he's like, the sky the night you sunk the Titanic is wrong. And James Cameron's people were like, what? And he said, on that date in question, and I've got a printout here, this is what the sky above should have looked like, but you just had a random set of stars. Oh, and you mirrored it on half the screen, right? And so James Cameron said, well, hey, how much money did we make on that film? 8 billion. Now, how much more would I have made if I'd gotten the sky right? To which, Neil deGrasse Tyson had to sort of like, okay, I am defeated. But when they re-released that movie, like they did a remaster or something, one of James Cameron's guys called Neil deGrasse Tyson and said, yeah, hi, I'm calling from James Cameron. We're going to re-release the film and, remaster, and said, and James tells me you've got a sky for us.
Nice.
I love that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So what about you, Jess? Like, how do you deal with trolls for the most part? Do you just let them be, or do you engage sometimes?
To a certain extent, it depends on my mood. To another extent, it depends on where in my journey as a YouTuber we're talking about. I used to try to engage in a constructive manner, respectfully asking questions or having the conversation, but I pretty quickly learned that he doesn't want the conversation, right? This guy is unhappy and he's reaching out to share that.
Mm-hmm.
And what guys like us do is hard, right? We put it out in the world, and we hope to hell that someone out there likes it. And these guys don't. They don't. On several occasions, I've said, listen, if you're going to troll me, do a video.
Oh, yes.
Send me the link and I will react and we can have the conversation. But don't just sit there and make me a video, put it up.
Yeah.
Show me your face and give me your opinion. Because then, even if he's angry at you and he's being disrespectful, you can turn it into an actual conversation. Right. Because suddenly he understands what it means to put in the work of putting up a video, waiting for it to freaking upload, right? Putting a title and all that stuff. Suddenly he starts to understand what it means to be a creator. Because look, I'm not a massive channel by any means, but I'm still a creator. I still work my ass off every week. And I still put it up. And when someone trolls me for it, it's still sort of like, oh. But these days, it really depends on how I'm feeling. Like if I'm having a rough month or something, I'll just say, it's an opinion. Thank you for watching. And I won't even engage. If the troll says something kind of interesting, if he piques my interest, I may get trapped into a conversation. I may.
Yeah.
But I've also, I'm partway through maybe a 15 or 20 year, no, not 20, 15-ish year process of de-assholing myself. In that when I was younger, I used to really own my inner asshole. I was a lot harder to deal with than I am now. And that sort of changed after a very specific event, which I've mentioned on a video before. But I was walking down the street with a friend of mine, and there was a fairly large woman walking the other way. Oh, I don't like reliving this moment, dude. But anyways, it's part of my story. So as we passed each other, I turned to my friend and said, hey, I didn't know you could fit two asses into one pair of jeans. And she heard me and she turned back. And so I turned and I was like, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to argue. But she didn't look angry. She looked hurt. And that I was not prepared for. And that I can't deal with. If I pissed someone off and they're like, man, I don't like your attitude, I'm going to be like, that's not going to keep me up tonight. But if someone turns to me and the look on their face is one of, man, that really stung, that's where my sort of inner asshole kind of breaks.
Yeah.
And I realized after that, because it was such a stupid, and I was the type of guy who would go for the cheap laugh, and the person I was speaking about would almost never hear it. So it kind of didn't matter. But now it does. Now it does feel wrong. And so it changes the way I deal with trolls. In that at one point, I would have gone all in, like gleefully calling names, make something, and then I can call you a garbage or, whatever. I don't even know what the things I used to, but I used to really work my wit to sort of
right.
Try to be as damaging as possible. And I don't, that guy was an asshole.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that asshole anymore. And so I try to be more respectful or just shut it down right at the beginning, because being respectful isn't going to get me what I'm not going to turn the troll into like a partner in the discussion. I'm not going to, it's fallen in my, it's been thrown back in my face enough to know that I'm not going to win this. So sometimes it's better to just, that's your opinion. Thanks for watching anyway. Please hit the thumbs down.
Yeah.
It still helps me in the algorithm. So yeah, you show me, man. You just show me.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. The other thing too, sometimes I'll do is like somebody will make a comment sometimes like, you should have done something some way, and I'll just throw out a random timestamp. Be like, yeah, just go back and check it out. There's the timestamp. Then they'll go back and check it out and be like, no, it wasn't. That was something else. Oh, sorry. It was timestamp 717, not 1717. Then after 2 or 3 times, they'll start to chew me out. I'm like, thanks for the 3 additional views. I really needed those, just as a joke. And just, yeah, that's my little cheeky way to.
that is brat-like and brilliant.
Oh yeah, it's funny.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
great.
So what's your thoughts on deleting comments on videos? Let's say if they're negative comments or comments that you just don't like, are you one to allow them to keep the comments up, or will you take them down?
Yeah, if it's not like hardcore trolling, I leave them up. I leave them up
Okay,
for the
yeah.
reason that if I make a massive mistake in a video, I don't take it out.
Yeah.
I think that um, I owe all these people in the side chat transparency.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've seen someone say something fairly negative to me with no grounds, and someone else has jumped on them before I even had to. And I've gotten some real ripper comments that aren't just a guy being an asshole. I really did something wrong, and so I want that to stay there because of my philosophy that everyone who's watching a video of mine at some point in their head is someone looking to learn something, and if they see me like a couple of times when Camille would be helping me start a fire, like I didn't make sure that her hair was tied back. So it's bloody dangerous, right? She's and a spark can light that on fire, right?
Yeah.
And so if someone says, "Dude, you really should have," I'm like, "Yeah, you're right," and I make sure to leave that there because just saying, "By the way, I'm not an expert," isn't enough because you're still doing it on screen. Someone is still going to watch you do it and adjust their technique if they
Hmm.
think that you know you were successful. And so if someone says, "Dude, that was dangerous," I feel the need to leave that there as a counterbalance
Right.
because there's a reason why I don't teach this stuff, right? Because I don't think I'll ever stop learning this stuff.
Yeah, like I think the constructive criticism comments are perfectly fine. I
Yeah,
have, quite a few incidents where I was using my chainsaw where I could have been doing something a little bit safer, where I was chopping wood and my hand, appeared to be close. In reality, it wasn't. It was just the way that it appeared on the lens or on
yeah,
the camera. Um, and yeah, okay, cool. I'll leave those in there. But it's it's the ones that are like not where like they're not trying to leave a productive comment. It's just when they're overly criticizing the process or over criticizing the video. That's the ones where I struggle sometimes. I'm like, do I allow the video to stay, or sorry, do I allow the comment to stay in the video, or do I delete it? They didn't really
yeah.
say anything too negative. They're not saying anything positive. They're not promoting positive energy around here. So I struggle with that sometimes, and I'm fair with it. But I have noticed lately, if it's a comment that's coming off, maybe it's just because I'm becoming more experienced, I guess, with dealing with comments and people,
Hmm.
is I kind of know where this one is going, right? Like if I click their channel and if it's no information, a channel that was made like 6 months ago with no videos, nothing, I'm like, yeah, you're probably just trying to cause trouble, then I'll sometimes delete those comments. Where if it's a channel that's established, that's been around for a while, then I allow those ones.
Um, yeah, yeah. I can see where you're. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I struggle with it too because there are comments that I have to think about and think about. Like if it's something, especially if it's like someone's dropping spam in there, boom, gone.
Yeah.
Um, I got an email by by another YouTuber over in Germany um, that was very critical, very critical. Came from a good place though, and he's a guy who worked in radio, and he's a guy who works, behind the camera professionally. And it was specifically about my live streams. Um, and what he did was he went back through my live streams and cut and just took out a little chunk of everywhere where I made one of the mistakes he was talking about and just strung it all together. And he said that when he was first working in radio, he thought he was doing a pretty good job, and then he got called into the meeting with his bosses, and they did that to him from his on his radio for his radio show, and that made him better at radio. And I feel that him doing that for me has made me better at this. Oh man, it was watching the video he had made for me was horrifying. And it obviously took him a few hours to do this for me.
Yeah.
But it was critical as hell. It obviously came from a good place and it was very constructive. But like by the end of it, I was like, when you're wet there,
Sweaty palms.
yeah, sweaty palms and just like, and feeling very badly about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I almost didn't do my stream that week because it felt like I was overwhelmed by all the things that he had pointed out. I was like, how do I fix this? And it's just the way I fix everything. You pick one and you start there. And if every troll was him instead of just dropping a shit bomb on someone for nothing, man, my channel would be amazing. Because sometimes you see this stuff that it feels like someone's sticking a shiv in you, but you realize, no, this is good stuff. This is good to know. This is going to make me better at what I'm doing. And so it's like it boggles the mind sometimes when you think that one guy would do this for you. Because really, if it takes you this time to show someone where he's going wrong, it's because you think this guy deserves your time and can do better. And then on the other end of, because it's all YouTube, right? It's all this weird world we're all in, are guys who are just like seagulling people, right? Because they're not only trolling one person, right?
Oh no, definitely not.
They're just flying over and dropping crap on YouTubers left and right. And it's because one guy understands what it's like to put yourself out there the way we do. And one guy has no freaking idea.
Yeah. That's the truth. That's exactly what it is.
Yep. Yeah.
And absolutely. It's ironic because again, a lot of these channels you go back and you look at, they don't have videos, right? So it's like you ask the person, and I think that's a wonderful question to say, hey, listen, if you think you could improve upon the technique I just shown or something I've done on my video, well, please, by all means, go shoot a video of it. Educate me on how it's done. Yep. And then what I'll do is I'll actually promote your video and I'll give you some exposure on a larger channel. Like you don't have any subscribers in your channel, and I'll call you out and we'll turn it into a positive thing for both people involved. And then, again, never.
And then wait.
Nothing. Yeah.
And then just wait.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Never, right?
Yep. Just, funny, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. But I think at some point in time, I'm not sure what YouTube's going to do about that. Like, do you ever see a future in YouTube where where there's a bit more of accountability for people who use YouTube, where maybe people need to be verified before they can comment? Or do you think it's just going to be a free for all like it is now?
I think it's going to be a free for all. What I see in the future of YouTube is fewer guys like me. I have this dismal feeling that it's just going to keep going towards, that whole TV 2.0 thing I keep going on about. I see a lot more Jimmy Kimmels and a lot fewer Jesse Corbett's. That's if I look far enough.
Yeah.
And I already think that YouTube needs a massive competitor. Not someone who's going to get YouTube, not someone who's going to bury YouTube and close them down, but I think YouTube would be better if they had a competitor.
Oh, absolutely.
And it looked like Vimeo was going to be that for a while. No, Vimeo? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Vimeo, yeah.
Yeah. But then it kind of went different, like different enough that it's never going to be a real competitor. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how YouTube could get a handle on that stuff. They can hardly get a handle on people who are putting up like dirty ass videos in the supposedly children friendly side, Yeah. So it's just too much going up on YouTube at any given second. There's too much.
Yeah. I wonder if I always think about just the sheer space of the servers that YouTube has. I mean, I know some of the issues with the 4K uploading now is the fact that, again, it's just the size of these files. It's like, does YouTube plan on continuously expanding their servers, or do they go back and purge old videos? I wonder, have you heard of anybody on YouTube talking about that? Like old videos being shut down or taken down?
Yes, but it always seems to be some sort of a censoring thing. But now I don't know, right? Maybe people are just thinking they're being censored, but YouTube's just purging old news.
Yeah. I mean, that one video that sits there that was uploaded in 2007 that hasn't received a view in 5 years. I mean, that does that deserve a place on YouTube anymore? I'm not saying it doesn't, but I mean, when you look at the size and the sheer volume of numbers and the sheer data that's that's being uploaded every day.
Oh, that's an interesting question. And you know what? I think that there's probably a whole team in YouTube fighting with some of this stuff as well, right?
I would think so.
Yeah.
And
they're fighting over how the hell to keep making money, right? That's why they keep having adpocalypses and stuff, and that's why now you can subscribe to certain channels, right? They're trying to get some of that Patreon magic for themselves. Because there's only so many servers you can build, right? The world is finite. And geez. And tertiary to that is, I wonder what the carbon footprint of all of Google's, like all of, I guess, what is Alphabet now, the parent company of everything?
Yeah.
I wonder what the carbon footprint of all those servers are. Every Gmail account, all that Google Maps stuff, all that Google Docs, YouTube, like YouTube. Holy crap, dude.
Right.
How many servers do they have?
Right. And how many of them are just filled with, I don't want to say useless, but you know what I mean? Like content of little to no value.
Yeah, probably a lot of it.
Right.
Probably a lot. But, to me, there's a lot of stuff that has little to no value. But the very first video I ever made, not my first YouTube video, because this didn't go up on YouTube. I think it did later or something. But hey, Dennis is here for the last 3 minutes. Man, your live stream was great tonight, man. Yeah, my very first video, which is up somewhere, was of shaving with an axe with my little Wetterling's hatchet, with some music in the background. There's no value to that video, but it's the first video I ever made, so I feel kind of warm towards it,
Yeah.
So if someone else just made the decision to yank that, I'd be like, whoa, I got history with that video. And so I wonder how many videos out there, like, I would be like, why is this here? And the other person is, well, I was 5 when I made it.
Yeah.
It was my first video.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
These are heady questions we're dealing with here tonight.
Yeah. It's just interesting. I just think about that sometimes. If YouTube's ever going to come out with an incentive program to say, hey, would you like to archive your video to free up YouTube space to reduce their carbon footprint?
I think yes. I think that they will come up with something like that, because they're already sort of moving in that direction anyway. Like they've got feelers out, right, with the YouTube subscription here, YouTube Red over there. Do you know YouTube Red, right?
Yeah.
Like they're obviously trying to hone the experience from a business point of view more than from a viewer point of view, really. Like it's all about trying to keep money rolling in because every now and again half the advertisers leave. But I think Simon said that Google is adding server space every minute and everything, but at a certain point, your server farms are the size of small cities, and just the property tax becomes crazy, right? So I think that at some point they're going to have to come up with something like what you're talking about, just to sort of maybe off gas some of the, separate the wheat from the chaff kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then if suddenly there's a cost associated with saving your archives, I've only got 300 videos, including all these live streams. What do I decide to save? Right? Do I get rid of all the early stuff? Well, maybe not, right? Because everything that we've put out is an archive of our experiences and our lives at that point. Because you bring your everyday self out into the woods.
Yeah, that is true.
So if I have
definitely.
to spend $20 a month, I might just sort of swallow and pay $20 a month.
Yeah. Have some program where they archive and then, yeah, you just pay back for some premium service for $20 a month or whatever it is. Or if you
Something.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're at 11 o'clock, so I'm going to shut this down. Thanks to everyone for hanging out, and thanks, of course, to you for coming on and making it way more interesting.
No worries. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, and I guess you're going to be live streaming again next Sunday.
Yes, that's the plan. Sunday.
Okay, and to everyone else, if you haven't voted on my community page yet, go and drop a vote whether or not you would still hang out if I move this to Monday nights, or if you think I should stick to Tuesdays, or blah blah blah. Leave a comment down below. So everybody, stay what? Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot.